Today I'm in the shop doing some work. Yesterday I was actually able to glue up some pieces. I don't have 8/4 lumber, so one of these days I'll find it, break down and get it. These were 2 scraps. This, I'm not sure what this was. It was just in the scrap pile, but it looked like it was an attempt at a plaque. So I cut it in half, glued it together, which means it's also bookend matched, which is kind of cool. We'll see how those work on the side. I have this piece here. The complication with it is going to be, I like that bookend match. This is going to be good with the piece because this figuring right here will be really awesome. I'll definitely put this in the front. My one issue is this big. You can see it's it's a pretty good knot in there. I'm not going to stabilize it because this is mostly going to be hollowed out. But I had a couple of questions since I had this material. Let me reach over to the drawing here. I wanted to see if I could get more than one cutout from here. I wasn't quite sure, and I know I've got the alignment holes moved over in here and then down here, and that obviously expects material. But I wanted to see how many pieces I could fit in each of these. So I added a vector here, a square, just around the top side and bottommost. And I'm just basically reminding myself that the dimensions are 2.5 by 3.5, because I wanted to see if by chance I could put them this way. But you can see just short of 3.5. So I can't orient it top to bottom this way and try to get 3 of them. Next time, maybe I find a piece. I mean, these are scraps, so I can't choose. But if I could find a piece longer, then I could do the grain this way. But I actually don't even know that I want the grain that way. So I'm still looking at, we've got 3.5 inches. I can definitely get 2 pieces out of this. The complication is going to be this knot. We'll see how that works out. But if I have this top piece is 3.5, but let me close out of here, go back to my material setup. So I had it at 4.25. So the problem is if I have it to 4.25, I can't, it'd make no sense for me to cut this in half because then I couldn't get 2 pieces. However, if I change this to 8 and then double up these vectors, twist it around, and make it taller, then I could probably cut 2 pieces out of this. So I'm going to try that. And what I'll actually do is, since this is the first time I'm cutting it, it's basically a prototype. I'll put this onto the CNC. The CNC is hopefully there in our shop. It's a bit of a mess, but I'll stay. I'll deal with the machine. Shouldn't say the CNC is a mess. CNC is not a mess. It's awesome. The workspace around it's a mess. What I'll do is I'll clamp this down top and bottom, and then I'll get 1 cut out. So I'll do these when I double this up. I'll separate them out. Just do 1, make sure that both will fit, but I'll cut 1 out to see if I need to change the toolpath, and then I'll leave it on the table, cut another, or then again, I'm gonna have the alignment holes anyways, so I could always put it back. So I will change up this surface. I'm gonna probably save this one as a separate one, as the original program, or file, whatever it is, and then I'll duplicate it to make one that handles an 8-inch piece. This one is, I think it's pretty much the same. I actually think both of these were on the scrap because they were going to be part of another project. It wasn't mine, it was just in the scrap pile, so it was all good to use. The other thing that I'm realizing is, let me put these sideways again. Now, the thickness is 1.25, so 1.25 inches, but for me it just doesn't make sense to waste material. This is, you you can see it's 1.5, and then this one is just a little. I had to joint this one down a little bit more, so it's just under 1.5. So I will probably start. You know what? Should I start with the harder one? Should I start with the easier one? You know what? I'm going to start with the easier one. Usually if I'm doing other work, I start with harder work. So the easier work last. But this is an unproven toolpath, and I don't want the added complication of dealing with this knot. So I'm going to start with this one first. And I guess what I was trying to get at is it doesn't make sense for me to waste material. I know technically I only need a 1 1/4 inch. There's no reason for me to burn off that extra 3/16. So I am going to keep that on, and then what I'll do is I will modify this thickness to be the same as this material, and naturally I'll clone out, like I said before, I'll copy this program before, so that I don't have this original messed up. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to lay it out. So I've got 2 different little pieces on here. The width is 2.75. I've got way more than that, so I have more than 2 3/4. So I'll have some wiggle room to center that, which also means that I will keep, when I do the cutout, there will be pieces on the side, which is great. It just adds to the structure. I might even consider adding tabs over here for this one specifically, because that will give it a little added stability. So I'm going to play around with that, and we'll see how that goes. So next is to clone this program, not program, I don't know what it's called, this project, I guess, and duplicate it out to be, change the dimensions to be equal to this that I'm actually working on. So that's the next step.